let's talk a little bit about networking, connecting. Obviously, this is something that's big for us at Alumni Direct, but talk about the importance of doing that while you're still playing.
Yeah, I think it's so important and it's such a unique opportunity because you're representing a university. You also get to tell your individual story. The university is shaping who you are as a character. And so networking is huge. I mean, I know when I was at Wagner, I also did some work study. I had an academic scholarship, not an athletic scholarship. And so I walked on, and my goal through my athletic journey was to network with as many people as I can. And so now on my LinkedIn, I'm still friends with our old athletic directors, still friends with a lot of my faculty members and so forth, just because you never know as to how you can help others or how they can help you in your journey. So told someone this, I believe last week, but I heard a coach, one of my friends had told me that their coach, when they were playing, wouldn't allow them to wear hoodies or headphones on campus while walking around because it made them seem less approachable. And I actually really like that. I think nowadays we're so fixated and behind our phones walking around campus that you get to miss the opportunity of networking with someone that maybe you'll be lifelong friends with, maybe you'll work with them in business. You never know. I mean, the power of networking. I received my first corporate job at the age of 21 from throwing t-shirts at Madison Square Garden. I mean, those two things probably shouldn't be in the same sentence, but it happened because of networking.
Let's talk about a Job Commander. Tell us all about it and some of the great things that you're doing.
Yeah, so the simplest way I like to describe Job Commander is that we're a compatibility hiring platform. So think of any dating site, any Match.com, any eHarmony, whatever dating site sort of comes to mind. We essentially match job seekers to employment opportunities based on more than just a resume, right? And I'll ask, before I get into it, Rob, I'll ask you a question. I'll be the one asking the questions this time. How long do you think somebody looks at a resume before they make a decision?
It's one of those trick questions. So I'm probably going to say maybe like, I don't know, like a minute.
It's 3 to 6 seconds. So on
Okay.
average, it takes
Wow.
3 to 6 seconds for somebody to make a decision on a resume, whether they want to move forward with an interview or the next stage, or they want to discard the resume. I saw that statistic and that was mind numbing to me, but I've also been there. I've also hired interns. I've hired people in the past, and I do the same thing. It's just kind of human nature. When you have a stack of 100 resumes, you don't
Right.
have time to actually look through every one of them in detail. You look at some keywords, you look at some, characteristics. If athlete is one of them that you care about, that would be something you'd be looking for. And you essentially are trying to separate the pile somehow. But that's not a fair representation of who the person is as a person, right? It's really hard to put your whole life on a single sheet of paper resume. So
Yeah.
what Job Commander does is we actually take that resume, we take who you are. That's important. Those are the hard skills, especially. But we actually also take a look into your soft skills. So how our system works is that we ask both the job seeker and the poster, the job poster, the recruiter, the hiring manager, a series of compatibility questions. So these are questions that don't have any right or wrong answer. You can't go back and change your answer, and no one ever sees your answer. So think of it as kind of like a baseline personality test that we're actually trying to get to the root of who you are as a person and trying to find you the right cultural fit on top of the right technical fit as well. As we're doing that with job seekers, we're doing it with job posters on the other side. So the same way that we ask compatibility questions to job seekers, we're asking job posters this similar types of questions. So they're looking for a job description. It's really hard to judge a company by a job description. But what we do is that we take that description, we take your personality-based questions for what you're looking for that particular role, and we match you up based on all of those different skill sets and those traits that are beyond a resume and beyond an application and beyond a job description. Once you find those matches, which our system is always calculating new people all the time, the system is always changing. If you match with an employment opportunity, you know you are very closely aligned with what that person is looking for that position and vice versa.
Why don't you tell us more about Tully and some of the great things you're doing there?
Yeah, so I mean, Tully was really born out of the partnership between me and my co-founder. Again, we were best friends in school, and he's an electrical engineer. So we took sports and technology, combined them. We're interested in sports tech as a space to just sort of explore. We funneled our way over probably like a year and a half into what Tully is today. But we really took this mindset. Sports tech has become such a hotbed topic, and it's, you read about it, you hear about it all the time. I sort of disillusioned coming out of pro sports where I'd read about like a technology that Cowboys were using, but I never actually used it as a player. My coaches didn't use it. We were still like pen and paper. So the impact, I guess, was the question mark. Like, is it really impacting that many athletes? And what we found was that kind of that divide is even bigger. It's massive in the youth sports level. Like, there's not a lot of technology really impacting, making coaches' lives easier, athletes' lives easier. So that became the mission, what we were looking to do with Tully. And then through some family ties, through our experiences, we ended up focusing on sports performance, strength conditioning. So all the strength training, speed training, agility training. And really, today Tully is a simplified software platform to help those coaches and organizations collect and analyze and share that athlete performance data. So we take a really simplified approach so that a high school athletic department or a gym is able to easily collect the data they care about, and most importantly, communicate it in a way that's impactful, simply showing an athlete their progress. Did they get better, in their bench press or their 40-yard dash in the last 3 months, to kind of build a positive feedback loop, help communicate with parents and team coaches and kind of break down that divide. And so that's been our bread and butter, and been very excited about kind of impact that we're able to have with those youth organizations.
That's great. So you're going out and meeting with these organizations and just finding them and seeing what they need, and then showing them the solution.
Yeah. I mean, it's all of the tracking is happening. I mean, it's whether you're at an elite like combine training facility or a middle school, like it's a coach with a clipboard. That's tale as old as time, right? Line of kids up, time them, and write their numbers down, because we want to. That data is valuable because we want to see progress. We want to see who's here, who's competing, who's engaged, who's getting better. And you want to post a leaderboard. Like, if you go on any high school weight room in the country, there's probably like a chalkboard or a whiteboard or a poster on the board of like the best efforts. That's just human nature.
Now we're gonna switch gears to Chosen Family Wines. Talk about that. Tell us how it got started and what you're doing today.
Long story short, Chosen Family Wine, everyone asks me where that name comes from. When I was on the Cavs, during that 2016 season, that summer, my mom died right before Halloween. Then my dad died on Thanksgiving.
Oh.
So that was a really tough time for me. Thank you. And I'm very bubbly and outgoing. And even through the allergies, you could kind of feel the energy here. I was the opposite of this, sitting in my room, playing video games in the dark, just kind of like crying, wondering why I'm even still playing basketball. And my teammates recognized that, and they got me outside the room. They know I love wine, that I love restaurants, I love being around people. And so they became my chosen family.
That's good.
Really kind of building me up. And so when I left basketball, I kind of was lost. And my wife was like, write down things that you want to do and who you want to do them with, and what's your legacy outside of basketball. She's like, Channing, you have so many ideas and you have so much energy that you need to direct it towards something, right? You can't just sit still. You're a top that's spinning, right? So I said, man, I feel like there is no better connector of people who don't know each other than wine. Whether you drink it or not, we could talk about the label. We could talk about where it's from, the history, the process. We could talk about these things. And even though me and you don't know each other, we can connect on some level for something with this. So Kevin Love and I decided to create Chosen Family Wines. We have been building this thing for 6-7 years now. Finally have the infrastructure with our great team to open up new states. So we're in Arizona, we're in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, and Oregon. We've been growing it. Wine is hard. Wine is very, very hard business. We want to do it right. But if you're patient, if you're not trying to make money quickly, if you're trying to make money consistently, you have to have patience.
Right.
And you got to have the right team, and you got to have the right energy for it. And it's an everyday thing. And so I've learned that over these 5 or 6 years. And it's making me love this business and industry even more.